to make today is we're going to decorate a jack-o'-lantern. And this came from the at-home store. So this one lights up just with some little batteries, nice and quick on the bottom. All right, and what I've done on here is, and I actually sprayed this last year, and I just didn't actually make it. So this is Gaps and Cracks. It is a can of spray foam. Let me show you what that looks like. It comes in a can. It's over by like the masking tape in the insulation section, but this is great stuff, Gaps and Cracks. And it is great stuff, but when you spray it, do it outside or in a garage. Open up the door. Don't breathe it in, right? That's not healthy. But what this does is when it dries, this acts like the floral foam. So when I sprayed it, it was smaller, and then it puffs up as it dries. So you just need to be careful not to overspray. But if you do and you make it too big, you can cut this down with a knife very easily. All right, so what we're going to do is poke all of our goodies into here. Now, what kind of theme are we going to do? You can see there's lots of orange and black all around here. So we are going to be doing a witch theme. I've got a witch hat, okay? I got a pair of legs. These came from Michael's last year, so this is Ashland brand. So we have this. I will notice some of the buckles fell off. So on this one, there's a little tiny spot. I think it's glue. Let me try to pull it off. Yep, a little spot of glue, but everything else looks pretty good. There's a little tiny spot on here. I'm just going to try to fill in a little bit with a black Sharpie. Rub it in. There we go. Looks perfect. Looks great. All right, so we're going to put those in here. So we're going to have kind of like the hat and the legs coming out. We're also going to fill it in with a couple of mesh ruffles just to add some fullness. I have some black glitter leaves. I have some gold glitter leaves. Not quite sure. I brought in everything I could think of. These are black leaves. These were from Joann last year. May she rest in peace. So I bought a bunch, and I should have bought more, but I got what I got. And then these were also Bloom Room from Joann. So I'm going to be using just a couple of these, maybe 3 of these. You know, you can also use orange ones of these as well. And then we have a ribbon assortment. I've got another black ribbon to use, but this is mainly kind of the combination we're using. It's obviously black and orange, but it's got a little touch of sparkle. See that sparkle in there? Ooh. And then I did bring over my pick machine over here on the side if I need to make some picks. So I'm going to get started real quick. What I want to do first, though, is bring over my glue gun. And this is the part that I hate. If you know me, you know I hate this. I'm going to put some Spanish moss. I'm going to cover this with Spanish moss just so that way if you look inside the arrangement, you're not going to see the foam. So I got to cover that up. Oh, this is nasty. I have a bag of foam right here, of moss right next to the garbage here. So I'm going to bring up some to start with. Okay, so I like to work in smaller sections. So I've got kind of, I don't know, we'll call it like a half cup size, okay? Just going to kind of add some glue right onto this, and then just kind of gently put it on there. Thinking of this, we are giving him a toupee, okay? Now, I have done it before in the past where I didn't put any Spanish moss on. Okay, now the glue is a little cooler. I can kind of push that on there. And, oh, I still burnt myself. Son of a bitch. And you were able to kind of see in between it and see some of it. So I did find it is a little bit easier for me to put this on before I go and make everything. So that's why I've unfortunately got to do this. I really don't like Spanish moss. It feels like stiff pubes, and it just is gross and it smells nasty. But it gets the job done. So, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. And I'm mainly trying to work down the bottom here is where I'm really trying to make sure that it gets covered, because there's going to be lots of stuff up and around the top. But if somebody peeks under, I don't want them to be able to see the foam. There we go. Just kind of adding this on here. This is the part that I don't like. Once it's all done, I'll feel better. All right. I can cut that off. Little gap there, put a little bit more glue there. Here we go. So what are you guys up to today? after this, I'm going to be making chicken nuggets for my little patient, assuming she wakes up. But she's down for the count right now. I just checked on her and she is zonked. She came home like a little drunk lady. It was kind of funny. As we're pulling out, of course, I wasn't recording this, but after I got her in the car, after her dental procedure, the only thing she said to me that really made sense was, "Tell the government I did it." It's like, okay, were you FBI? That was funny. But then I said, "Do you know where you are?" And she said, 11. Like, I don't even know what that is. It was funny. It was funny. So, of course, being the great mom I am, I had to record that. I mean, it's my job to embarrass her in a video at her wedding reception someday. So I had to make sure I had some good ammo. All right. It's got one more spot to do, and then I'll show you how I go around and I trim it. Again, this is not the fun part, and it's the part I hate, and it's gross. But I'd rather make this mess now and get the mess out of the way and brush it off than to potentially get these little tiny pieces on stuff as I'm working on it, because that's not good. All right, kind of putting it on there. I like to cut the stuff out of the bag because I don't like having to pull it apart. It just makes a big mess on the floor. And then this way, at least I can kind of control where the mess is. But yeah, it's a big old mess here in my bag of crap. Ugh, nasty. All right, I'm just gonna try to finish this off and get all this stuff on here. All right, get on there, get on there, get on there, get on there. Okay. All right, there we go. Everything looks good. I do like to go around and just kind of like, I'm trimming his bangs, kind of, right? So anywhere we've got lots of stuff that's really poking out, because I mean, I really don't want to see the Spanish moss, and you don't have to do this step. If you're going to cover it with leaves and some other stuff, that'll work well too. Okay. All right, I've got that cut. He's all covered. He's all covered. Ugh, now we get to go into the better step, the easier step, okay? So I'm going to grab 2 pipe cleaners from behind me. Grab some black ones. Okay. Move this over. Now, this is mesh I had already had left over from another project. So if you've got mesh from something else, I highly advise using it. I'm probably going to use 3 pieces. So 1, 2. I'm using 2 pieces, 2 different kinds of mesh there. So that was kind of all embroiled upon itself. There we go. Here, I'm going to deal with that mess later. Chuck it off into the mess behind me. Okay, we're going to make some cruffles with this. And then the cruffles, I'm going to cut my pipe cleaners in half, getting them ready. Okay. If you're going to, so we're going to stick these in here. If you do not have a pick machine, if you happen to have picks like this, then you may want to leave the pipe cleaner solid long, because then you can wrap it around this and then use this or barbecue skewer to stick it in there. You know, the bamboo skewers. Okay, that wire's useless. The bamboo skewers work perfectly too, because you can cut this in half with scissors, and then you can use that as 2 different pieces. You just wrap the pipe cleaner around the stick, and you add a little bit of glue to make sure it stays on there. You can add glue beforehand and just kind of hold the pipe cleaner down here. Let me show you. I would add glue, put the pipe cleaner down here, and then just wrap it like that. Okay, and then you would stick it into there. This pipe cleaner is what's going to be holding on the mesh. So you have to imagine that there was mesh on there. Okay, we have our piece. All right, curl side up. All right, this was 18 inches, which, you know, I think it is pretty good size for this pumpkin. Is how far wide is he? He's at like an 8 or 9 inch pumpkin. Okay, that's how wide he is. So I'm curling in the top down and curling up the bottom. So I've hidden the ends and I've just curled them under, and then I'm going to go up the middle. Okay, now because I have a pick machine, I'm going to turn this into a pick, so I'm only using a half of a pipe cleaner here, okay? I'm just going to turn it around. Nice tight tug. Then I'm going to twist this. Okay. So I have about an inch. I'm going to cut off the rest. Okay. Now I'm going to do 2 other ones, and then I'll use my pick machine. All right. Cut off the stray little whiskers, little chin hairs, right? Okay, so we're going to curl up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make the cruffle. Wrap it with half a pipe cleaner. Turn it under. Let's give this the old 1, 2 twisty. All right. Leaving about an inch. All right, then I just trim off the rest so it's nice and even. I watch the pieces fly. Those are what I pick up off the floor later. Crafting is not a clean hobby. If you don't have a mess in your craft space, are you even really crafting? All right, here we go. This is our last one. All right. And I think there's a stray hair sticking out of here, so I'm going to have to trim this in a minute. Oh, there it was. That and that. There we go. Okay, let's finish this. What this does is it adds a little bit of bulk. You're not really going to see too much of these ruffles, but it gives the stuff things to rest upon, like the hat, the legs, the florals. It fills it in. This way we don't have to maybe use as many florals. So it's kind of a bit of a money saver. You can really fill out a lot of stuff for not too much cost when it comes to using mesh. All right, I'm bringing my pick machine over. As I push the handle forward, a pick comes up. See, there's the pick. I'm going to lay this flat along the spine of the pick, so it's nice and flat. And then when I push down on the handle, it grips around there and it's holding onto it. So now when I release it and I pull it forward, I now have a very sharp pick. Do not jam this under your fingernail. It'll freaking hurt. Okay. Handle forward. Put it on the spine, push down, pull out. These are not cheap machines, but if you do make a lot of stuff, they are absolutely worth the investment. I got mine used off of eBay. Came with everything and worked like a charm. When people get out of doing hobbies or selling floral shops, that's a good way to find things. Okay, so now let's talk placement. All right, so I typically go like 1, 2, and then 1 would go across the back, okay? But these are gonna go a little bit, you see how I'm kind of putting them together like this? They're not like this. 1 is sideways, 1 is more up and down, and then the 1 will go across the back. So all I do is add a little glue onto the pick, both sides, okay? Just gonna jam this in there. Okay. I'm gonna go add some glue onto the other pick. Be careful not to drip this on your hands because it'll friggin' hurt. All right. All right. She looks so pretty. She's got her stuff on there. And then we're going to put 1 across the back. All right. Oops. See, I just dripped glue. So it's a good thing I wasn't doing it over this. All right. Okay. Look, it's kind of like putting like a little bonnet on her, right? Oh, let me get this glue off my thing. Here we go. Okay, so that's in there. That is cool. I'm going to use my pick machine over there. The next thing I want to do is talk about making a bow. So how I like to do this is I like to have a bow over here on the right, and then the hat will be up on the left, and then the legs come out behind it. So in order to move on, I need to make my bow. So let me bring over. I use a bow making tool. I use the Easy Bows Design Pro. It's my favorite bow making tool. As I always say, there is no shame at all in using a bow maker. People are like, I can make it by hand. Well, good for you. I'm so happy. Go cry to your mama. I can make a bow too, and no one's going to know the difference if I made it by hand or if I used a bow making tool. All right, so we are going to start with, so I have, this is the other one I have. This is, let me show you guys this. I have never used this before. I just got it Saturday. This came from Craft Outlet, but this is, it's like in the Boston, it's the non-woven ribbon. It is wired, but like, look at that. It almost kind of looks like leather, but there's like a printed floral design on there. I got it in 2.5 inch and 1.5 inch, but we're going to use that. I think I'm going to go with this on the bottom because this is a thicker ribbon. This here, it's a satin ribbon. I don't generally like satin ribbons, but there's a lot of Halloween patterns that come in satin. So I'm going to try it. We're going to try it, right? Because that's one of the ones that I really use a lot of for Halloween. And this roll came from the Craig Bachman warehouse sale. It's Brilliance Ribbon, item LS3120P2. I don't know what that means, but it's freaking gorgeous. I love it. Here we go. Cut my ribbon. Okay, I've dovetailed it. Now, let's talk how big we're going to make this. So if I put this in here, if I have a 6-inch tail, I think that's pretty good, okay? Because I don't want this to be too massive. So if I do like a 6-inch tail, okay, I put it through here, and then I pinch and twist. So then you're looking at the back side of the ribbon on the left, which is what we want. Nice, tight pinch and twist right along here, okay? Okay. So if I got a 6-inch tail, I want a 5.5 inch loop. All right. And then I pinch and twist on the right-hand side as I kind of push this down, okay? Because I don't want this bow to be too massive. Okay, so I pinched and twisted. The right-hand side over here is now, this is now the back side. So I'm going to bring this over and pull this through until I get 5.5 inches. Now I'm not pushing the loop down. I'm following the natural curve of the ribbon, 5.5. All right. But I'm not making any more loops, so I don't have to pinch and twist this side. I just have to cut it a little past 6 inches, because once I dovetail the end, it'll come down to 6. See, a little bit, take a little of that off, and now we're at 6, okay? So I pull the tail down on the right and loop up, and then I go tail up on the left and loop down, okay? Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. Oops. As soon as I get my pin in. Put a pin in it, Linda. Okay. All right. Shaped like an X. Okay. And it's got opposites. Loop, loop, tail, tail. Okay. Next one is going to be this really pretty satin ribbon. I do like it because it's not super shiny. I don't like shiny satin too much. I know there's shiny satin in there, but it's thicker. All right, now this time I'm going left to right. So this time I'm still going to kind of have this tail at about 6 inches, okay? And I've pinched and twisted on the right, so I am looking at the back side of the ribbon. Feed this through, and we're going to go like, we'll call it 5 1/4. I want it to be slightly smaller than the one before it, but I also want to make sure that my 1.5 inch doesn't get so small that it gets sucked in and ends up looking really tiny, because when you make the bow and then you cinch it and everything and put it in there, it is going to suck it in a little bit. So you always kind of want to make it a little wider than you think you need. Kind of like that's how I pick out pants. I need to go a little bigger than I think I need. All right. Cutting it kind of like a little past 6. Here we go. All right. Now this time we are going to go loop down on the tail down on the left, loop up, and then loop down on the right and tail up. Okay. Nice. I'm just so excited to be making Halloween stuff. All All right, let me try to check my comments. I have not, it goes away on my version of it, so I have to keep going over and clicking on it, which is incredibly annoying. Linda's watching. Linda now has a booth at Painted Tree in Naperville. I'm so excited for her. Yay. It is a beautiful booth. If you are local, please go check her out. She is in, I think, spot A18. It's always exciting when you've got a booth in a boutique. I'm constantly checking my website to see if I sold anything, because I also have to take it off of Etsy then. But okay, so here's where we're at. Do you notice how I moved the tail and the loops to be between the other ones? We don't want to block anything that was underneath it, okay? So again, it's kind of following that X shape. All right, now we're going to go with our 1.5. We're going to do the black. So excited to use this. Oh, it is even prettier than I imagined. And the price on it was really good too. Okay, now I'm starting from right and going to left. I'm going to have the tail here hit at about 5.5, pinch and twist. Now I'm looking at the back side of this pretty black ribbon. Okay, let's bring it over. And we're going to do this at 5 inches. Yep, that is 5 inches, pinch and twist. And then we're going to do 5 inches over on the other side. Beautiful, pinch and twist. Cut it a little. It's always going just a little past where that other loop was. And then we dovetail. So pretty. Loop down, tail up on the left, tail down, loop up on the right. Okay. Oh, it looks very elegant. It is a sexy ribbon, I gotta say. It is a very, very sexy ribbon. Oh. What you doing later, ribbon? Want to do a little 50 Shades of Ribbon? Huh? No. No, I just got shot down. I just got denied by a ribbon. Nice. Not even the ribbon wants me. All right. Now we're going to go on with one of my favorites. I just actually restocked this one from a craft outlet order. I love this. It is just black with a simple glitter stripe, but it's just perfect. All right. Putting that in there, tail hits it about a little past 5. So this one is going to be like 4.75 on the loop. No, we're going to do like a 4.5 probably on the loop here. 4.5, pinch and twist. 4.5. All right. My first scrap of the year. So there's enough on here. There's enough left over. I'm going to hold on to that. I have basically just kind of like, I throw it behind me and I have a pile of scraps. And then when I'm all done for the season, I take those scraps and I will actually make a bow out of all those remaining pieces. Because why wouldn't I, right? If I can make at least 1 loop and 2 tails out of it, so I need probably at least maybe like 16 inches of ribbon on there to save it. Okay, here we go. Now, I did originally pick out that, but I think I'm going to use that. This came in my Deco Exchange wreath supply box. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think I have this pattern in a white with black and a 1.5 inch. So this is really pretty. Now on this is 7/8 or 5/8. This is 5/8. I just cut it diagonal. I don't like to dovetail 5/8 because it's too, it ends up looking like snake fangs. Okay, I'm just going to pull this. So this is going to be a 4-inch loop and a 4-inch loop. And I might have something fun to put in the center of this bow when I'm done. I might. I'm just going to angle that. Perfect. You have to see what it looks like when it's all done. And when I do glue things into the center of the bow, which I call a sweet center, I wait typically until I'm all done. And that's one of the last things I will do because I just don't want to knock it out of place. Hold on, I'm moving this Spanish moss. Ugh, thank God. Ugh. I don't know why. I can always smell it. Ugh. Okay, now I'm going to take, I'll use my full size on this one. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm going to take I grabbed one. Can't find it. I'm going to grab a black zip tie. Okay. I don't think I need a super huge one. I think I can just grab one of these small little 4-inch guys. I'm going to pick up my bow. Okay. Keeping it all together. Holding on to it. I'm going to slide this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a 1/2 inch, the half pipe cleaner. It's right behind here. If you're not using a pick machine, use the full pipe cleaner. Okay, I'm taking a zip tie all the way around this. All right, pulling it nice and tight. Snipping it. Ooh, a clean snip. I love watching those things go everywhere. All right, now I'm going to take the pipe cleaner. I'm just going to, like I did before, I'm just twisting it. One solid piece. I'll snip it before I put the pick on it, but let's hold it and let's fluff out our bow. So I start from the back and I pull down the tail and the loop, and then I go the tail and the loop on the other side. Now then it was striped. I'm just making sure that my layers stay where they were, and it was the black. And we had glitter stripe. Okay, and then we have this. Now, I like to pinch these together. Then it kind of hides the zip tie, but that's why I used a black zip tie too. All right, so here is going to be our bow. Let me move my bow maker to the side. All right. Now I'm going to snip this. This is where you would wrap it around the skewer, but I'm going to snip mine. Bring my pick machine over. Oh my God, that's an arm workout. Whoa. All right, let me slap a pick on this baby real quick. All right. Ooh. Off to the side, thank you. All right. So I've already got a spot kind of right here, so I'm going to try to kind of go in right there with this. Okay. So very carefully, you don't want to get any glue on the ribbons. All right, so I'm just real carefully adding that, but I also don't want to get any glue on my fingers. So I'm going to go in, kind of push it down. I'm pushing the pick, but I'm pushing it from the top so that, there we go, so I don't get hit. All right, here we go. All right, kind of move stuff around on here. Find out where it wants to go based on where the mesh is underneath it. Okay, and here's where we've got our little bow beauty, right? So now we can add in some of the fun stuff. So we're going to add in, we have our hat, and then we have the legs. Okay, I think what I want to do maybe is add the legs first. That'll tell me how tall I really want the hat. Well, now, you know what? I'm doing the hat first. Screw it, I'm doing the hat. I know I probably am going to have to cut the wire. So let me, where's my snip? Here we go. Here's my snips. I'm going to cut the wire. But let's see, where do I want this to kind of be? I want it to kind of be resting like right kind of on here. So it means I'm going to cut. Good job, Linda. I'm going to trim it like right here. Now, I'm going to poke it in right now, and I'm not gluing it in. This isn't permanent, but I'm just going to poke it in. I'm going to go on an angle, but I want to make sure that that's going to be good. Yeah, that's going to be good. I want to make sure that my wire wasn't too tall. Okay, so I'm coming in this way. Okay. Why isn't it going? There we go. There we go. Now it's going. Okay. And it's sitting on a wire, and it's twisting a little bit. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue to the wire so that it doesn't, it's like rotating a little bit, which we don't want. Okay, perfect. So this is coming up. This is coming up. We're going to have some other fun stuff in here too. So I think this is looking perfect. I don't like that it keeps going up and down on that. There we go. All right, now let's talk legs. She's got legs. All right. So again, the buckles fell off, but I don't think we really need the buckles. I think they look fine as they are. And they're going to kind of go a little up and out, right? Kind of like from behind. So I'm trying to figure out height-wise. I think I need to cut off just a little bit, like an inch. All right. All right, so now the problem is I have to be careful about putting it in. I have to avoid, I don't want to put it through the mesh. So I got to kind of watch, okay, I'm going to go between the ruffles, okay? So we're going in the butt crack. We're going in the ass crack of the ruffles, okay? We're going in the ass. Here we go. No, we're not. I don't do that. I'm a good girl. All right, I'm pushing it into the foam. That doesn't feel in there very good. I'm taking it out. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a little bit more off of this. I'm going to go put this on, put a stem on it. It just wasn't piercing the foam like I wanted it to. Okay, and now I'm going to, while I've got the other one next to it right now, I'm kind of measuring, okay, I need to cut this much off and then put a stem on it. So about another inch. So I've cut off 2 inches total. All right. This is going to go in easier and better. I don't like having to force it and fight it, because then what happens is your stem bends, and we don't want to get bent. That's still a little long. Okay, so I'm going to do what I like to do sometimes. I'm going to cut the stem, the tip, and I cut it on an angle. There we go. All right, we're going to try this again. Right in there. All right, and I want to make sure that that foot is facing toward me, but also on a bit of an angle as I push it in. Oh, there we go. That's the nice, secure feeling. You can hear it go in. There we go. Okay, so this one I'm going to cut as well on an angle. Okay, see how it's going that way? Now I'm going to put my glue on this baby. All right. All right, check it out. This is looking so cute. I love it. It's looking great. I can bring up my loops now that I got this in here. Oh, here we go. I'm like, that looked a little squished. It did. Okay, so we've got that going. All right, let's clean up our space a little bit. Get all the little pieces off. Now, what do we want to go with next? I think we're going to try to put in some of these beautiful roses. All right, so I'm going to try to put one a little bit. I'm going to cut one a little taller. And again, these came from the Bloom Room, but a black rose, I recommend trying to find black roses with black leaves. That's why I liked these so much. I think bought out the last remaining online stock of 10 as soon as I heard that they were going to go under. But I want to try to put one back here, kind of between the feet. So I'm literally just adding glue onto it. I don't think that I'm going to have to add a pick to it. I don't. But that still feels a little long. Okay. Cutting off about an inch and a half. And again, when I turn it around, let me show you. I'm going around the back here. I'm going between the mesh. All right. I never want to push anything directly into the mesh if I can avoid it. And then I can kind of bend it toward me a little bit. Oh, that looks so pretty. Looking good. Looking good. All right. Something else. Let's add a smaller one. I think one coming out from here would be beautiful. So let's see, I can go into there and kind of go in that way. All right. So I'm going in here, going between. And you can hear it, you can feel it hit that foam. And then once it's in there good, you can then bend it to do what you want. Now this one I can even rotate a little bit. Then have the leaves kind of coming down here, which are perfect. I love that. All right. Let's see, there's another black rose. Now we've got, think of your threes, 1, 2. So I'll need one kind of down here. I think maybe coming down over here, or perhaps maybe coming out from here. You know what? I think maybe that might be pretty. Okay, which means I'm going to have to cut quite a bit of this off. And that probably also includes, I just cut this off. But look, I cut it off long enough where I can actually keep that stem, and this is going to go in there. I'm going to put that in there too. It's just going to go in separately. I use every possible piece of what I've purchased. All right. All right. Kind of putting that around it. All right. You notice I held it right between, I put my fingers right between the eyes to kind of hold it so it wasn't moving. I want to put these leaves right in here. I'm just going to cut this off, so I only need a little bit. Now you have to be careful when I put the glue on, when I'm pushing this in. Don't put the glue all the way to the end, because that's how I'm going to end up burning myself. But I'm pushing this right into here. And it makes it a little more difficult having the Spanish moss in there. But, oh, that's too long. I don't like that. That's too long. I'm pulling it out. Well, I was. Hold on. Come on out. Come on out. I need you back. All right. I got it back. I got it back. I got to do a little fixaroo there, though. There. Let's just fix it with that. There we go. Ow, 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 ow. Glued myself again. All right. It came off. So let's put it back on. It's not going back on. Okay, well then you know what I'm going to do? I added a pick right onto the leaf. Right onto there, I just added that. All right. I want to cut it off though, because my foam is not necessarily that long. So here, we're going to cut this off. Here we go. I keep losing my chat comments. Dang it. Carol, Alma, thank you guys for watching. Okay, putting this in here. Glue on both sides. Let's try this again, but maybe a little further up and maybe on a bit more of an angle. So it kind of comes out the side here. There we go. I like that because I can pull one of the leaves forward, but it's still kind of going off there. I like that. Here we go. All right. Looking good. Looking pretty. All right. Got another rose here. I know for sure. Cut that off. All right. So I've got another just by itself. Okay. And ooh, there's one down here too. I got another set. I'm so excited. All right. Here we go. Awesome. And this one is going to put a pick on this by itself. All right, so I got 3 sets of leaves. Look, I left nothing on that, baby. Use it all. Okay. Ooh, that'll be good. So I'm going to go. I already know I want to put one of these right back there. Okay. Typically, it's wherever there's like a gathering where it gathers into the pumpkin with the mesh. That's where I kind of want to put some stuff. All right. Go along the back. I don't need that much on here. Let's go that way. All right. Pushing that in. All right. And then this one's going to go right there. See where that other mesh gathering is right here? On the left-hand side, you can see right in here. We're going to push that right in. Beautiful. Okay. I like it. I like it. All right, our last flower, where do we want to put it? I think maybe we need a little bit more, like, we need something back here. So I think I'm going to cut this small. And I can cut more if I want to, but I'm really trying to be sparing because I don't have a lot of these at all anymore. I'm going to go actually underneath here. Go right here. Go. Go. There we go. Push it a little bit more. There. Awesome. Very nice. Very nice. I think I do need one. I'm going to take one more from this other spot. All right. And I'm going to steal the leaf too. All right. So we've got this gorgeous beauty right here. And I think she kind of wants to fill this out. See, 1, 2, kind of 3. Filling that out right back there. I am going to cut off these. See these extra things? We don't really need those. All right. We don't need those. I'm going to make it a little smaller. There we go. Just adding some glue. I love getting to the swing of things for Halloween. Makes me happy. I typically, like, my kid will go to school, first day of school, and then she'll come back and my house has Halloween up, and it's like the middle of August. You know. All right, there we go. We have done that. I'm going to try not to use those leaves, but oh, wait. I found another set. All righty. Where you want to go, buddy? Where you feel like going? Let's take a look at her. Let's take a look at our beautiful lady. I think she, oh, I see exactly where she wants to go. On the left-hand side, to the left of her eye, right underneath here. I'm going to push it up and in. There we go. Perfect. Loving it. All right. I forget what else I have. I have this. But I think that might be a little much. I've got a lot on here. I've got, in this hat, I'm going to probably glue down a little bit later because I don't want it to keep flipping up, right? I don't want that hat to keep flipping up. I think I'm going to try to add a little bit of glue. And I just add it to the mesh. Touch the mesh. Glue to the mesh. You meshed yourself. Just hold it for a minute. Yep, it went through because I felt it burn my finger. Yikes. All right. Yeah, the only place I could think would be maybe over here, but I think, or maybe over here, but I feel like it's already got enough of that. It's already, there's enough patterns. I think this would be a little too distracting. So I'm going to save this for a different pumpkin, but it's definitely going to go on a pumpkin. Okay. Now, we have a bunch of different leaves. I also have, oh, I forgot I got this. Well, what if I kind of put this off to the side here? I think so. Maybe a little much. I feel like it just needs a little something back here. So I'm going to put that in there. I only have one of these. Again, it was Bloom Room, so I ain't got no more. I got to go through the mesh on this one. Oh, 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 oh. F word, F word, F word. Glued myself. Glued myself. Oh, son of a gun, that hurt. That one hurt like a mother. Is that secure? No, that's not in there good enough. Let me bring it out. Put it back in. I think some of the glue came off. I know this is one of those rare instances where I do have to pierce the mesh, which I don't like to do, but there we go. I did not have, it didn't go into the mesh very well, or into the foam. Now it did. Okay. There, now I feel like she's balanced. Comes out to there, comes out to there. That feels more balanced. Okay, now I have these black leaves, which I love. Let me take these off. I've ordered these from Deco Exchange. They are gorgeous. I don't think I'm going to use them as, I might use a couple of these as full pieces. I think I'm going to have to. Unless I was trying to figure out where I could cut it. And I could cut it like right here to make two pieces out of it, which, you know what, let me try it. Because I have more of these, so let me try cutting it here. I'm just trying to make it go as far as I can, because the more I put into here, the more I have to charge. So if I can keep this one nice and long, there we go. And it comes out here, it still kind of gives the same type of look that I was going for without being too much. All right. Fudge. I am doing nothing but burning myself today. This is not fun. All right. So that's kind of poking out that way. This one is got a very small stem, so I'm going to add a stem onto it over here with my pick machine. Okay. Because this, I think, I'm going to try to put in the back. There we go. That added some height there. Okay, now I've got another one. I'm probably going to take this one apart as well, cutting it into two pieces. Here we go. These turned out gorgeous. I do have a lot of these, but just because I have a lot of them doesn't mean I want to throw that much in there. You know what? You know how much supplies are costing now. You know. It's crazy, and it's only going to get worse from here. Only going to get worse. I got a big one. I'm kind of thinking I want to bring it down here like this, but that's kind of a lot. But let me take some off of the, there we go. Take some off of the length. Oh, there we go. All right. Go stick this in. I'm going to go underneath these ruffles. Go, go, go. Why is it not going? Oh, I gotta move it down. I like that. And then the other one, I'm gonna put a pick on this one like I did on the other side. Ugh. Uh-oh, that pick did not come out. Pick accident. All right. Okay, and then this one kind of be down there. This is turning out really fun. I love making these. I make my big ginormous ones for fall too, the huge ones. I used to get them from the at-home store. Now I don't know if I'll be able to anymore. I have one giant one left that's undecorated, one giant one that's still made. But I'm going to have to find somewhere else where I can get enormous jack-o'-lanterns. I did look at Menards, that is a home improvement store that's in the Midwest, and they did have some, but they weren't as big as the kind that I was used to using. So I'm very upset because the at-home store filed for bankruptcy. So I know they always say, oh, we're just going to restructure. Well, the CEO that's taking over is the CEO that took over for Party City. And I mean, that's basically like putting in a CEO that's wrapping things up. You know, seems to be what they specialize in. I got a little bit of glue stuck on here, so I'm going to try to pick that off later. I'll get it off once it dries. Problem is it glues all over my nails too. All right. What else we got here? I got one more of these. Let me try to see if I can. Here, I'm going to snip this off. I'll put a pick on this. Right. Here we go. So I got one more. These are great to go around the base of the pumpkin. So think of it as kind of like framing your face. It's kind of like bangs for the pumpkin, right? But it kind of just goes all the way around. All right. I'm going to put it right here. If I can get it in. I don't know if I'll be able to get it in very well. Because part of this stick, part of the pick is sticking out and it's not going in very well. So let's see. Let's see, I'll do what I can. All right, it went in. I got it in. All right, so we have this. I do have these other little ball picks. I could put some in, but quite frankly, I think that might be just a little much at this point. I don't necessarily think I want to go that crazy with it. I wish I could cover that, so maybe we're going to use some of these. Are leaves from these are, don't laugh, okay, but they came from Dollar Tree, and they're really not bad. They're just to add a little bit of a little touch of stuff, just to kind of cover some things that you might want to see. But these are not bad actually. All right, I'm just gonna have to. I'm piercing the mesh. There we go. There we go. All right, so I just got a little bit of leaves in there, right? Just to kind of add a little coverage of some stuff. Like this one here. I'm gonna keep more of these leaves together so I can put a piece in just like this. This is a little bit of a taller piece, but maybe we go, now there's already enough there. I would like a little something under there, but I think if I add anything else, it's going to get in the way of the eyes, so we're going to leave that. But I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to go kind of like right in here, all right? This is definitely, I don't want to neglect the back, okay? We still got to make sure we see everything we want to. On the back, it's got some pretty stuff hanging there. All right. Ooh, this is a tall one. All right. Let's have a tall one. Where do we want the tall one? Maybe in here. Kind of like right over there. Not that it's not going to block the leg, it's just going to kind of add a little bit more pretty stuff to it. Piercing the mesh. And into the foam it goes. All right. Just a little bit. And I think it couldn't be bad to add a little bit more, kind of right over here too. So I'm going to go back behind here. Oh, we're not even going to see that. That's too small. But I'll pull it down so we kind of see it more toward the bottom of the pumpkin. Oh, I'm not going to hit anything with that now. That didn't work. Let me add some more glue. There we go. There. So kind of put just a little bit here. I'll put just a little bit in there too, for a little bit of balance. All right, just adding a little bit of glitter back there too. Nice looking pretty, but I do want to add, so I've got a little bit there, a little bit there. I need something over here. All right, so let's bring in a big, tall, juicy one. All right. There we go. There we go. It's not covering the black leaves. It's kind of just going to the side there, which is what I like. But I think we need a little bit more over here. Now, this was nice to cover that, but we need a little bit bigger piece. Let's see if I can use this. This one. All right. Ah, perfect. There we go. I like it. Got one there, there, there. I do have some very small little ones. I think if I trim this one real small, I can get it in here. We can give it a little bit of something, something without having it be too intrusive into the eyes. It's got to go high enough and kind of go up on an angle going into the foam. The problem I have to be careful with, there we go, is that there is a stem that exists there. So that's kind of like not, oh, and I don't like that. No, it's down too far. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's coming out. It's coming out. I don't think I'm going to mess with anything more by the eyes. I don't want it to cover the eyes. I don't want it to cover the eyes. So now we're going to go at it right in the back. All right. Right back here, anywhere where I can see Spanish moss. And put a little something there. There we go. That covered it beautifully. Okay. Got one more piece, but this is kind of not really staying. So I'm going to glue this, but I'll use this on a different project. I want to glue it so it doesn't come off the stem. But I think I'm done. I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to add too much. So let's take a look. Let me get the glue snot off of our pretty lady here. Let me wipe it off my hands. I am covered in glitter and dried glue. Obviously, I will be taking this off before I get my manicure updated tomorrow, because look at that. Like, just a tragedy befalling me this weekend with the nails. Okay. So first thing, shake it out to get all the gunk out of the inside of the mouth. And now I'm going to turn it on. There it goes. It's on. Okay, so here she is. all nice and pretty. All right, and let's rotate her. This is what she looks like. Side. All right, here we go. Look at the back. See, the back is just as finished. If I looked at it straight on, it's not flat. It doesn't really jump out that this is the back of an arrangement, right? I can take this leaf and kind of cover the stem of that. And then here we go. This is the other side. Here we go. So I'm going to have this listed over at sweetariadecor.com. That is my website. So she's going to be in the Halloween section at sweetariadecor.com. This video is going to be backed up onto my YouTube channel. If you don't follow me there, I'd appreciate if you go over there because Facebook deletes all this stuff after like 30 days now. But I keep like a running catalog of all my good recordings are over there. Not everyone, some of them don't turn out so great with the recording, but I'm going to have that over there. Give me a follow. You can also follow me on TikTok. I think I'm going to try this Saturday night to go live probably around 7 p.m. and I'm going to make a Wicked wreath. And I think we're going to sing the soundtrack to Wicked as we make the wreath. So join me and we can channel our inner Idina Menzel because I like to go with the original Broadway cast recording. That's how I was raised. I am not this new generation, which is still good. But, you know, I do have my preference when it comes to witches and I'm old school. So thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and happy extremely early Halloween. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me all over social media and you can shop my store at sweetariadecor.com.